We do have a question that came in. Why does the Republic of Texas need recognition from anyone to become a nation? Chief Justice Cannon, would you like to answer that?
One of the fundamental principles in international law as far as that identity, when we speak of the identity of the Republic of Texas, you're speaking of it as a nation. And in that recognition, it also confirms within the relations, because again, when we look to this time that we live in, those assembled today within even the UN, there's close to 200 countries. And because of that charter that's within that, and they're bound to, there are multiple issues that deal with basically independence of new countries, because we see the effects that have taken place not only in the Middle East, but in the African continent. We also see those issues that have transpired in Latin America. In that position, as being in the 21st century today, because that's what we're looking at, we have to understand that everything that we deal with is an international issue that deals with outside the borders of Texas. And because of that transition that has escaped us, because most of the multitude of us have not been up to date on those positions. It says in the requirements of dealing with obligations, as we spoke of earlier, those obligations may be incurred, but does the Republic of Texas wish to pursue? So if you, as the majority of people, love your cell phones, love your automobiles, love the electronics, love the technology, love bananas in the wintertime, because when I was growing up, everything was seasonal. In other words, if you wanted oranges, you waited till December, and apples and such and so forth. But we've become accustomed to that situation where in that recognition, there's an obligation that's bound because of that under that organization that we know of as the UN. It's a fact. So we have to look at it and deal with it as a fact. It's no longer a question, well, what if, what if, what if? It's a fact that we have to look at in our relationships around the world. And one of the positions is in that early recognition, because the U.S. itself has, on its own cognizance, have what's called premature recognition. Being that it was premature recognition, most of the U.S. taxpayers did not understand that there was a fine that was endowed upon that, which was well over $350 million for that premature recognition. Now, it was okay because you taxpayers, as far as in the U.S., you love to bail out GM, you love to bail out AIG, you love to bail out failing corporations. And your voice, because of that, and this gets into a lengthy understanding, but because of that behavior modification, they understand that most people in the U.S. Find comfort in calling into talk shows and griping the situation. And we abide because we agree, and we allow because we have no venue to vent that. All the Republic of Texas, these men right here, and there's multiple others besides us, we're looking at these multiple positions that deal with recognition. Yes, you can build and be independent, and you can have yourself an island and purchase it and put a fence around it, but when you run out of the necessities, and it's not an issue because, and in these positions and that recognition, because we look at that import-export and we look at that situation so that we can keep Texans working. We also understand that our biggest export is going to be the resources of Texas, which is our intellect or our understanding, our technology, because we have we have generations that have lost out, and under that understanding and relationship worldwide, in not only in Texas but the U.S., you're ranked way down there in education. So you're going to have to be competitive, and being competitive means we have to raise the standard, and the only ones that can raise that standard are the people. And that's the issues that we look at, because it's not just a generalized position to where we're going to be a walled-in city and hope to continue. And those are points that are raised. Another one of the issues that I'd like to refer back to in a question earlier was on this issue of Social Security. When we look at these points and positions, we understand that today, being the 21st century, there are other options beside that for your retirement. And even the early arguments of the founders, even dating back to that period of time, with Jefferson and Madison and others, it was brought up on the position is, should one generation be indebted by the previous generation? So how far in debt are you as Texian people to that next generation that we hope there will be a next generation? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice.